How exciting. A real event coming up. URC round 1 in Cooma. Still quite a bit to do. Some niggly stuff on Bullet and load the 79 with all our camping stuff. We haven't slept in an Oz tent in a while, but we're only taking one car down, no caravan this trip. Toyota have had the truck for the 1000k check. Big tow ahead of us. Time to get this can back on. So it's probably done 4 burns in the 1200k, so I know the system now of how it does it. So I'll be able to keep an eye on it with the can on now. What do they mean I have to modify everything? I just want a bit of colour. Well, Bullet's white, so white sticker on a white cab isn't really gonna cut it, is it? With this series and series like it, you pick a number and you're that vehicle number for the duration of the series. Like Tough Tracks, we're car 206. We chose number 49 for this series. 49 being the age I am right now, and Shell and I are married on the 4th of the 9th, so it made sense. The kids also got to pick their bike numbers for their upcoming points scoring days. And a bit of paint on them as well. A bit of fun all round. Back down at Adams and we're gonna take Bullet home. Brian's coming over and we're gonna give him the tie rod because he's gonna modify the bracket. He's gonna do what Brian does. But while Adams had it in here, look, he's made it stronger. Maybe he doesn't trust my driving. We've got a Victory V. We've got a bit more bracing down through this and then across the top. So it's going to be full on this weekend. What else did we do? We tacked this together where I'd cut that. Band-aids. Band-aids, oh yeah, the Band-aids over here. So he's filled in where we've put some big hits on it and one there. So apparently you're going to get in the car with me now.
No way.
Oh, still not strong enough. Well, good. All right, let's hitch her up. The countdown's on. 3 sleeps. A bit of paint on all that new steelwork. So Brian brought the tie rod back after his little modifications and they are heaps better. That ram now is a lot closer to the drag link, hopefully still enough clearance, but when it does go left hand down now, the nut won't hit the other nut. It's really tight. So the tie rod ends let that drag link go up and down with the suspension movement and steering. It's not 2 fixed spots. So when it comes down, we want that nut to clear the flip plate, but when it goes up, it looks like now the threads are touching the first rod in front of it. So I tried turning the bolts around, having the nut on the back, and it's still hitting the head of the bolt. Apart from rotating that clamp back around, which brings the head closer to the flip plate, is just to cut the thread off with a grinder. So the bottom of that bolt and that U-bolt aren't in line anymore. I've got to try and gain an inch of width on this hub. We'll get rid of this 38mm spacer. Options. I'll gain 25mm if I go from the 38 to the 50, but I need that 12mm in 6mm. So what I'm saying is I'll put one behind the 50mm spacer and then one before the tyre. So that'll give me an inch for this weekend. There's the width that I'm going to gain because of the height. And then with the hydro steer, I will hit this a lot later. So I've got 25mm more clearance off the hub. So I've got more lock. So hopefully I get another half a turn because I was hitting the springs both ways. So it just gives me that 1 inch more footprint in width each side. But then I guess I've got to sort the back out too because we were equal front to rear. I get the opportunity to check my axles, make sure they're tight, U-bolts, but I found a problem. So the stud with a 1 inch spacer, the wheel stud needs a couple of mil taken off it. Happens with the Hiluxes as well. So this is an 80 series rear with 80 series hubs. And the back of the rim is dead flat, so I'm not going to get away with any imperfection. So Brian's not going to be happy, but I need to take 3 or 4 mil off each one, unfortunately. Put them on the stud. That also gives me a guide of where I'm going to cut. Plus, if I do burr the end of it, when I take the nut off, it cleans it up for me. Brian is cringing. I thought it would be so much easier with the truck on the trailer. Apart from saving time, taking it on and off, I thought it'd be a lot easier, but it's not. Got to get the tire off, and it's a good foot off the ground. It only just clears with the width of it when you're putting it back on. But there it is. That's what's going to give us the inch at the back. It's just one solid spacer, cut down studs. Lucky I've been accumulating stuff for a decade. Lucky last wheel, and I thought I was going good until I saw that swivel hub. So that top arm's not moving, but the swivel hub is. Far out. I hope I haven't broken the bolts in it. Lucky we're doing this. Wow, I just so do not have time for this. Not good. So that's the only one that didn't do up tight, and I was able to pull it out by hand. So see how there's a lot more thread on that than there are on some of the others. I'm hoping that that's just rusted to the bolt and that I haven't ruined the thread inside the knuckle. It pays to collect, I tell you, spares. So we want, that's what we're chasing, exactly what we're chasing. So I've got one. I've got a comb washer. Yep. And then we just need a flat washer. Oh, and a nut. I need a nut as well. Hopefully that's Brian telling me that he's got a magic potion. I don't have any time to look for nuts, especially when one's looking straight at me here. I'll just take Shell's car to pick up the kids and just pinch this one. I'm going to need a second nut so that I can tighten it up. Alright, I've got my fingers and toes crossed here, but this will pull up. Best tool in the world again, look. Delicate work. Very unlikely to work this. Yeah. Maybe it did. Maybe I got a little bit out of it. I should have shaved the tops of them square so I could have done it and have a bit more grip. We'll try again. We'll put a mark left to right, and I'll have another go at tightening it and see if the mark's the same. I'm either slipping on the jaws here or it's stripped, but it feels really, really tight. So I don't think the bolt's stripped in the knuckle. So let's have a look. It's definitely turning. Okay, it feels like it's bottomed out now. So I would normally check these quite regularly on a social run even, but we're going to have to check them after every stage. Every 10-minute drive, we check them. We've been here before at some point. I've got helicoil bits and pieces in a kit that I've taken some out of, but this is the stud size. So I'll be lucky if these are the right ones. But maybe what we should do is buy some helicoils to suit on the way down. No, it failed. It did not tighten up. So I'm going to try this bolt and see if I can get to a little bit better thread in the kingpin, in the knuckle. I just don't have this time. But I can't afford it to break 6 hours from home either. All right, that's a good sign. I can feel it biting. Either way, if this fails, we've got to drill it, which means it'll be an all-nighter. All Oh, that feels okay, but it felt okay until I put the bar on it last time. Oh, that feels good with this. Let's get the bar on it. I've got the comb washer and a split washer on it. You know what? It feels like it's tightening. Way tighter than what I got the nut before. So all 4 had come loose. This one obviously stripped, and then worked these ones loose. But we did 3 big climbs on that last run, and I didn't check them at any of the 3 because we were more worried about what this ram was doing. Yeah, that's tight. All right, we're good. Let's continue with this spacer. Another thing Brian was worried about was because we moved the diff forward and this thing walks a long way when it wants to flex. That gap is quite a lot bigger with the 20mm push, but then when it walks, it really elongates. And Adam said that it gets on a touch of an angle. So I've got something for that join right there. Brian modified the back of this shaft so many times. He shortened it, then he lengthened it. He went to a smaller tube. Now we've got this trail gear cross member. It could have had the bigger tube, but he's had this at his house more times than not. And I don't want to ring him up and ask him the night before a comp, can he make that longer? So we'll just throw a spacer in there for this event. Got the tail shaft spacer in, so it decreases that slip, but then when the front diff walks, we're not out 200mm or so. But also, could this be a noise? For sure, eh? I reckon it could be. I hate exhaust rattles. Can't get to it with the cordless grinder. I don't want to unbolt that bolt. More than one way to skin a cat. Go the Recipro. Probably one of my favourite tools of choice in the building game. But look, no more hitting, no more rattle. So not only have we not got the exhaust coming back out here and hitting in this corner, we've shortened it up and now we're missing that shackle bolt. The trailer's going to need some TLC this trip. So we're going to grease up all the suspension. We'll check the bearings since we've got to jack it up to get to some of the grease nipples. Thanks Penrod Oils again. We've got some grease for that. Coastwide Contracting, thank you Paulie. We've got a grease gun, a brand new grease gun. I haven't used it yet, mate. All right, just confirming the isolator works. Shuts down the motor in case of a rollover. This last minute little change could be the difference between falling and not falling. So that extra inch, so we're 2 inches wider. The extra effort we went to with that ram, so we're not jagging on that U-bolt nut. I mean, all these little things, I hope it's all worth it. I wanted to change the cross member rubber on the transfer case, but I'm not sure I'm going to get time for that. For me, just getting down there is a bonus. I mean, a month ago, 4 weeks ago, we didn't even know if we'd ever be able to start this 5L. Next thing you know, we've got the motor going, we're on 40s, we've got hydro assist, and we're entered into URC round 1. I can't wait to bring you some footage from round 1. We're in a class of some really decent trucks. Definitely the underdog. Definitely nobody's going to expect us to get to the finish. But we'll be there. We'll bring you some excitement. Apart from packing the 79 with all the camp gear, the bullet's ready. Hope you enjoyed this little prep video. And as always, thanks for watching.